Hi, Brad here with Pulse Sound. Today we're going to focus on the monitor source section of the master control unit. So we'll go ahead and select the blue button for the monitor source section, and it pulls up the parameters on the touch screen. You'll notice it's divided into different sections here. The first section is my external inputs section. You see I have one external input source right now labeled iPod, and the rest are grayed out. That means I have not assigned the rest of them. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. The next section is my mix section, and you notice I have my stereo out selected so that I can listen to my master bus in the control room. And then I have 3 or 4 cue mixes for my headphone monitor mixes for the performers. And I currently have 3 headphone monitor mixes set up. My 4th one is not set up, and that's why it's grayed out. I'll show you how to set that up in a minute. And then I have my headphones for the control room. And so these parameters, whatever I select here, will control what is going through those headphones in the control room. And finally, I have my control room monitors, and whatever I select here is what I will hear in the control room. I'll go through and show you how to set these up. First of all, at the beginning part of the section, or the top part of the monitor source section, if I click external, so that that's lit up, I now have 6 external inputs that I can assign. And that might maybe, like I said, an iPod. Say the drummer, for example, might be in the other room. He might need to hear a reference track played from my iPod or another iPod in another room. I can set this up where external input 1 would be my iPod. And then I can go to his cue mix. Let's say we wanted to send that to the drummer's mix. You can see it right here on the screen. I would click external input in the drummer's mix, and then he is now hearing the iPod play through his headphones. When he's done hearing it, I can click on cues, and now he's back to his own mix. I'll explain the mix button in a minute here, but if I was to select that in the drummer's mix, he would then be hearing the mix that I have going on in the control room. I'll go ahead and show you how to assign an external input. We go up to Devices, VST Connections, and make sure you've selected the Studio tab. And then you can see I've got iPod assigned already. I've chosen it to be a stereo input, so that gives me a left and a right, and I've assigned it to be input number 1 and input number 2 coming from my Neo. Let's say I wanted to add a CD player. I can right-click in this section and add external input. I still have 5 available, and so I will select input number 2. I can rename it right here to be CD, and then it's going to be a stereo configuration, and I hit OK. You'll see it pop up here. And if I click on that arrow, it shows both inputs, left and right. I'm going to assign those to be input number 3 and input number 4 from the Neo. Now you'll notice that I can select input 1 or 2 now. I have not assigned 3, 4, 5, or 6, so they don't even light up and they won't let me select them. So that's how easy it is to add an external input. Now the section below that is our mix section. If that is lit up, that's what I'll hear in the control room here. So I've actually got, you can see I've got a stereo mix set up. That's coming from my stereo bus, and you can see the little monitor source icon there. Let's say I wanted to add a couple things here. I can right-click and add monitor source. It says I have 7 available because I'm already using 1 for my stereo. And then I have 3 choices. I can select any of my inputs, I can select any groups, and any outputs. And again, this is based on the project that I have currently open. So for this demo, I'll just select a drum kit group, and I also want to add let's just add my keys group, and then I'll demonstrate how to use that. One instance may be, let's listen to the overall mix. But you notice if I select 2, that will be my drums, my drum kit. Or if I select 3, that will be my keys. So I currently have just the key group, and I can listen to that, and I'm not soloing anything on the channels, so it's not affecting any of the ears in the performer's headphones. It's just what I hear in the control room. Here's my drum group mix. I'm hearing it in the control room only, and then here's my overall mix. Now there's a sum button below the mix button. If I highlight that, that will sum any combination of those buttons together. So you'll hear I've got the drums and keys together right now. Let's say I wanted to just hear the keys or just the drums. So that's a good overview of the mix section there. And again, those are assigned here in VST Connections. Now finally, we have 4 Q buttons underneath of those, and so those are my headphone mixes. You see I had 3 assigned already, but the 4th one is grayed out. It will not let me select it. Let's say I wanted to go add a headphone mix. Go to Devices, VST Connections, right click, and let's do Add Q Mix. It shows I have 1 available because I have 4 total. I want it to be stereo, and I can hit OK, and that will open up my Q mix number 4, and then I simply assign what outputs those are going to go to. Let's say I want those to be outputs 7 and 8 on my Neo. And there we have it. And now you see it's not grayed out. I can select it. And there you can even go in VST Connections and name them. I've named them vocals, drums, bass guitar, etc. So as I select these buttons here in the control room, I now hear the mix that they are hearing in their headphones. So if I wanted to hear the drummer's mix, I select mix number 2, Q number 2, and then I'm hearing the drum mix here in the control room. And it makes it easy as I'm making adjustments for him. I can hear the adjustments I'm making, and then I can go back out to my control room mix. That's just a brief overview of the monitor source section. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, Brad@pulsesound.com. Would love to help you with anything that we can. Thanks for watching.